Welcome to the Bottle Poppin' Podcast, where Meg and Heather share their love for oils, friendship, and entrepreneurship. Let's get it poppin'.
Hey everyone, this is Meg.
Hi there, this is Heather.
And we are the Bottle Poppin' Podcast. So, Heather, what bottle are we popping today?
We are going to pop open Air X, which is a fairly new blend here in the US. I am going to ask you to go ahead and open it and give me first impressions.
So, first impression is definitely the citrusy. I assume it's the Litzia specifically that I smell in here. It's the dominant smell for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It smells the citrusy, but the Litzia has a little bit of a different cleaning smell almost associated with it. And that's the first thing that I grab out of it too. I guess I have a little bit of the frankincense behind there. There's only a couple oils in this. It's Litzia, tangerine peel, grapefruit, frankincense, and then cardamom.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I mean, you said the cleaning smell. I guess I can see how it's a cleaning smell, but Litzia to me smells a little bit like a toned down lemongrass.
Oh, I can sense that.
And maybe it's not just the Litzia, maybe it's a combination of all of them, but it's like a not quite so aggressive lemongrass smell.
Yeah, because lemongrass has a little bit of a sharp smell to me too. I wonder if that's the cardamom, because the cardamom's really the only herb that's in there, right? And so maybe that's just toning it down a little bit too. I like it. It's clean smelling. I think when it initially came out, I wasn't really sure where it would fit in with Breathe. But I think for us, Breathe we use for respiratory support. Particularly my son's been having congestion at night, so he applies that and we diffuse it. But I feel like we diffuse this more for cleaning the air.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely use it for cleaning the air. And previously my go-to for cleaning the air, like if we cooked fish last night, and I use like fish is amazing when it's fresh. When it still smells like fish the next day, that's just gross, you know?
Yes.
So previously what I would go to always was Purify. And I do feel like Purify for sure gets rid of any smell, but this is just a nicer replacement for the smell and definitely clears the air.
I agree with that. I still reach for Purify if I'm talking about like putting a couple drops at the bottom of a trash can or stinky shoes, stuff like that. I feel like I'll go for that. But I agree. If I just want the air to smell better and clean the air from that standpoint, I'll use Air X versus Purify.
Yeah. And I know when it came out, there was a lot of talk about it. Like you said at the beginning here, that this is new to the US market, relatively new to the US market, but it has actually been around for a while, especially in Asian countries. So they use it primarily to clean toxic air and how helpful that is. Smog and pollution.
Just pollution, I guess. Yeah. And I've also heard forest fire, like smoke from forest fire. I've read some things where people said that they've had to have all their windows closed because of smoke coming in their house, but then it still kind of gets into the house. And they say that they are able to kind of just run this all day long in the diffuser. And they feel like it really cleans the air for inside their house too, which is really helpful in certain areas.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely a good oil to have in your tool belt if anything like that's going on in your area.
And I think it was called Air Repair, if I remember correctly, in other markets. So they named it Air X for whatever reason here, but it simply says the Air Blend on here as well. It can be used all three ways. So it can be used internally, topically, aromatically, and I guess household would probably apply to this one now too. I know that wasn't around yet when they introduced this oil, but I guess because this has some cleaning properties that it could be used for that too. A little bit on the internal. So the reason that I know that it can be used internally is that it has the supplement facts box on it that we talked about in earlier episodes. And that tells me that it is safe for internal use. I really like using this internally by putting it with plain seltzer water. So again, if you're going to put oils in any sort of drink or liquid, then make sure that you're putting it in glass or stainless steel. So I will put plain seltzer water into glass and then put 2 drops of this. And it's really refreshing tasting. I feel like it's just slightly different than the flavors I can get at the store.
I'm totally going to try that today, actually. I definitely have had it in my water and I kind of forgot about it till you mentioned it. But we actually just won a bubbly water maker.
Ooh,
I know there's a better name for that, but yeah. And so it's been fun to make our own bubbly water and then add different oils. So I'm definitely going to add a drop of this to my water today. So thanks for that tip.
Yes. And the only thing about those bubbly water makers, and they may have come out with glass ones, but ours is a plastic bottle when you fill the initial bottle. And I've always just want to just add my flavor up front, but you can't put the oils in the plastic. We don't want it to degrade it.
Right.
So I've got to put the plain in there and then just move it into a glass when I go to drink it.
So I bought on Amazon 6 really nice thick glass bottles. And so we make the bubbly water in the plastic thing that it comes with that fits perfectly on it. And then we pour it in and it fits too perfectly. And so then we're able to just like grab it out of the fridge and drink it. We're trying to replace all of like our canned bubbly drinks that we were drinking before with this.
Exactly.
And the glass bottles are really nice too. Like they look nice and just super simple. And then I love the fact that I can literally put a drop of oil in it and then shake it up, with the lid on, obviously. But that way the oil like really gets through as well. Because I've definitely added oil to water before and tried to stir it. And maybe it didn't totally stir. So it's like your first sip at the top still has the oil sitting on it. But this way it's like mixed in throughout, which is super nice.
Yeah, I end up kind of swirling my glass a little bit and or using a straw so that I can.
Yeah, it's like a fancy wine.
Yeah.
You're aerating it.
So does that keep the carbonation in it?
Yeah, it does. And maybe it's because like I put the oil in, shake it, and then I drink it. So it's not like we have them sitting in the fridge with the oils in it ahead of time. Just because I want to add whatever oil I want at that moment to my water.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so try AirX today because I feel like that's a good combination. And I don't know that we have any plain right now because otherwise I feel like I would like to do that too. You know what? I'm sure it's probably really good still with like lemon lime, bubbly water or anything else like that too because the citruses in here are really nice like
probably. That. I'm excited about my drinks later on today.
Not to say
some other bottles.
I was going to say, not that you couldn't make that alcoholic if you wanted to as well.
A little like vodka.
AirX margarita. I don't know.
Oh, the possibilities.
So going back to the actual usages, let's just say, since I said topical, let's make sure that because it's got the citrus oils in it, if you are going to use it topically, be sure to dilute it with fractionated coconut oil or something and put it somewhere that the sun's not going to shine because we don't want anybody putting this all over as a pure fume and then getting sunburned or something from it because it's got the citrus oils in it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I wasn't even thinking about that. I will share one tip that I've heard, and I'm pretty sure I've tried this out, and then I forgot about it till we started talking about AirX today. But putting one drop of this on your hands, rubbing your hands together, and then running your hands through wet hair before you blow dry it. And then once you blow dry it, it makes your hair look extra shiny and even like pick up the sun. So like almost sparkly shiny.
Ooh, I will try this tomorrow because we are having a family photo shoot. And so
perfect.
Yes,
perfect timing.
Try that.
Yeah, definitely report back. Maybe put on Instagram your shiny hair.
Yeah. Thank you, AirX.
Yes, exactly. And the nice thing about adding oils to your hair, pure essential oils aren't actually oily. They absorb really fast. So it's not like your hair is going to look greasy, but it also kind of works as a natural diffuser because every time you swish your hair, you're going to have a little bit of that scent coming through, which is nice as well.
Love it.
Yeah. And that takes me to something that I thought was super interesting, which is the emotional benefits of AirX. And so one of my favorite resources for essential oils is the book called Essential Emotions. And I completely forgot, but I actually have the Essential Emotions app on my phone as well. So if anybody's looking for a really easy way to have essential oil information available, highly recommend this app. And it ties all the essential oils to the emotions. And for this one specifically, it talks about how, from an emotional standpoint, AirX is the oil of discerning. And then it talks about toxic people. So not only does it clear out toxicity in our air and in our environment, but it does with people too. It doesn't clear out the people. It's not that powerful.
We could just put in a spray bottle and just start spraying around us.
Right. After 2020, that's what we need. So yeah, it's not that powerful, but it does help you either deal with toxic people or even deal with yourself. And one of the things I really like, a direct quote from this app or this book about AirX, I thought was really interesting and poignant for just life in general right now in 2021. It says, Erics invites people to reflect on how they arrived in this compromised state and how to discern a less destructive path. And so you could literally use this for yourself if you feel like you're spiraling out of control, maybe just with all the toxic stuff that's in the media and on the news, and even coming up when you have conversations with people and you feel like you're spiraling. This can help you have some discernment within yourself and then pick a higher road. And so I'm especially intrigued to try that next time I'm around a big group of people where maybe topics that are somewhat toxic could come up.
I like that a lot. And I'm curious what your opinion is when we're talking about emotional uses for oils.
Mm-hmm.
So with aromatic, if you're going to be using an oil that way, you would breathe in the molecules. It's going to pass through the olfactory bulb, go to the brain. The brain's where it's going to process from an emotional standpoint. So do you feel like if you're trying to access the emotional side of oils, do you feel like you get more out of it aromatically or topically? Because then I wonder, well, if I'm applying it directly to my skin, I still smell it, but then it's getting into my bloodstream through the skin application. But we were talking about it in the hair. When you move the hair, you obviously smell it. What's your opinion if you're trying to get to that emotional use?
So I think the traditional way to use it for emotions is aromatic, but I personally believe, and I've seen this a lot, is that when we don't deal with our emotions get trapped in our body. And so I think if you can connect where an emotion is trapped in your body, and a lot of times this shows up as like an ache or a pain. Again, this Essential Emotions book, the newest version now, and the app have all of the body systems listed out and then connects the dots. So another resource that I really like on this topic is called, the book is Feelings Buried Alive, Never Die. And it's by Carol Truman. And this book goes into detail of explaining exactly why we trap emotions in our body and then where those emotions connect. And so like a lot of times I'll have a random pain in my left ankle and I can look up left ankle and it will tell me what emotions tend to be trapped there or what feelings. So maybe it's something to do with like family disconnection or something like that. And yeah, it's amazing. Like it's almost always right on the money as far as something that I'm emotionally dealing with and then connecting it to that body system. Maybe a lot of people are hearing this and thinking like, I don't think that's right. But I think we've all experienced something where we're super nervous or anxious and then our stomach is upset.
Yes.
And that's like, there's a direct connection between anxiety in our brain and our digestive tract. And
even
so we
one
all
of those
have
things
this.
Where palms start sweating, like I feel like that is an immediate reaction to a nervous response or something like that. Yes, I definitely think we have physical responses to emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you can connect the dots of where you're feeling those emotions, I bet applying the oils in those spots is going to help too.
I like that. And I feel like that kind of speaks to me a little bit more because I feel intuitively I want to apply an oil topically. And I think I vary where I apply it topically based on whatever it is I'm feeling or processing or trying to achieve at that moment. So aromatically, despite it being nice and smelling good when I walk by the space, I also don't know that I'm want to like just hang out by the diffuser when I'm trying to process something. And I think maybe that's when I apply it topically. It's especially on my wrists, I tend to, because then I feel like I can just hold my wrist up to my nose if I feel like I'm starting to feel whatever that feeling is again. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It's awesome though. I don't feel like there's a wrong way to use these oils. Like they're all going to be effective.
Agreed. Yeah. And I love oils like this that you can use all three ways because you have a lot of flexibility with how you want to use it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else on AirX?
No, I think it has renewed my excitement to use it again after talking about it. So I'm going to go put some in some water. I've got it in the diffuser and going to enjoy AirX in my hair tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, report back. Let us know how that works for you.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for listening today.
Thanks for tuning in. For more information, you can follow these bottle poppin' ladies at bottlepoppinpodcast.com. Tune in next week to learn about what bottle we're poppin'. Until next time, take care. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This podcast is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.